I have always really wanted to live with the end game and reverse engineer my life based on who I want to be, then who I want to do, and what I want to have. And so in reverse engineering my life of being who I want to be, one of the things I have found really insightful is listening to those that have gone before and talking to grandparents and parents and trying to glean the wisdom from people that have been older than me and have gone farther and done so much more. I think it's a pretty profound way to live. And I don't know a lot of people that are doing that actively these days. And so I'm sharing this in case you want to be more intentional with the choices that you're making in life and who you want to become. And I hope that this will provoke even just one person to live with more intention and possibly more. We are so focused in America on love as an emotion. We're focused in the modern world, even around the world, with this idea of love being an emotion. It's a feeling that you have. But love is so much deeper and more meaningful than just an emotion that you feel. Most of my life growing up, the people I was surrounded by often spoke of love being a choice. Love is a choice. That was a phrase I often heard. And I love this little story that is told about a man. He was 73 and retired, a guy named Paul. He was a retired businessman who used to volunteer at a hospice center. And in this interview, he tells of sitting with a man that he had never met before. And he arrived for a shift one day, and somebody tried to mentally prepare him for what he was going to be encountering that day and explained that the person he was going to be sitting with was completely disfigured, that they'd had cancer on their face, and just to be prepared and be careful with the reaction that he might have when he saw this individual. And he talked about how he entered that room, and when he saw the person in the bed, he was filled with complete disgust for what he saw. But he chose to move beyond that first feeling of disgust and chose to love the man. And he said, in that moment, I chose to see him with the eyes of love. His face changed, and I saw the beauty that was within this man. I could see that his spirit brightened because I believed subconsciously he became aware that I had chosen to love him. The power to choose to love people transforms not other people, but it transforms us. And it's emotional for me to read that and to think about that. There are times in our life when it is hard to choose to love someone. It's not easy. And your first response can be absolute disgust. But if you can move beyond that and choose to become a loving person, choose to love other people because of who they are as people, and to honor the dignity of humanity, it can be a beautiful and profound thing. Choosing to love is a profound thing, and it helps to start with choosing to love yourself. I often think of the spiritual admonition to love your neighbor as you love yourself. I know a lot of people that have worked really hard at loving their neighbor all their life and are incredibly wonderful human beings. Secretly, they have struggled to love themselves, and they've never maybe even come to terms with being able to love themselves. In fact, years ago, I would have been appalled for that to become public knowledge, but I had to work through some deep feelings of self-rejection and self-hatred that I had internalized in difficult years that I had as a child and a teenager, and some of the battles that I waged and some of the difficulties that I went through. And so it comes as no surprise, but most of us, if you've been through any storms in life or had any great difficulty in your life, there's a good chance that you've got to work through and process a lot of those feelings. But coming to a place that you can love yourself is an incredible gift, because I have really come to the conclusion that you'll never be able to love anyone else more than you love yourself. And so for me, that kind of sets that bar that I need to be somebody that deeply loves myself and cares for myself, because that affects all the people around me and in my life. Nobody on their deathbed says that they had wished they worked more or that they had more things. The people that take stock on their deathbed, it's either they regret the relationships they don't have, or they celebrate the relationships they do have. And so love is the key. Making love a priority, making family relationships and friendships and community service a priority is key for that. You can choose to become a person that is embodied by kindness and is celebrated by the people around them as somebody who embodies love and someone that makes love a priority. If you found one nugget of wisdom in this video today, please share it in the comments and share this video with a friend. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much.